To this episode, and we're still going to be talking about character propensity evidence. This is going to be talking about Rule 404 A, which is talking about character evidence, and then we're going to be talking about A2. So these are exceptions for a defendant or victim in a criminal case. So this is going to be a true exception where you could bring in character propensity evidence. And there's going to be three situations. The first is that a defendant is allowed to offer evidence about their own pertinent trade, and if that evidence is allowed, the prosecution is going to be able to offer evidence to rebut it. What does this mean exactly? The defendant is allowed to bring in evidence about their own character propensity, about their good character, and they would want to do this in order to make the jury like them. So they're going to be allowed to do that, but if they do that, the prosecution is going to be allowed to rebut it so that it is an adversarial system. Then we're going to be talking about 2A, which is subject to the limitations in 412. We're going to talk about that one later. A defendant is going to be allowed to offer evidence of an alleged victim's pertinent trait, and if that evidence is admitted, the prosecution is going to be allowed to rebut it and offer evidence of the defendant's same trait. So this scenario would be for some type of self-defense claim. So a defendant is going to be allowed to offer evidence about the victim's pertinent trait, saying that the victim was violent. That could be an example. And if they bring in this evidence, the prosecution is going to be allowed to offer evidence to rebut it. And once they open up the can of worm, they're going to be allowed to also offer evidence of a defendant's same trait. So if they say the victim was violent, the prosecution is going to be allowed to bring in evidence about their own violence traits. In addition, in a homicide case, the prosecution is going to allow to offer evidence about the victim's trait of peacefulness in order to rebut the evidence that the victim was the first aggressor. I hope that, guys, clears it up. That is going to be our full coverage of Rule 404, very important character propensity, and I hope you guys have a great day.